WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word video with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people at their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Come on. Importantly, a true understanding of the Word of God. Get your copy of the Son of Man Speaks from these select locations. Sister Spring Journal, 80070 Mount Elliott, the Shell Gas Station, 13110 West 7 Mile Road. To get a subscription, call 601-786-9780. That's 601-786-9780. The Son of Man Speaks. Re-indeed.
Graphic design provides agency quality professional graphic design services from established companies to citizen people, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communications from crisp. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call
Two Hair Braiding and Natural Hair Care Salon, located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care. You can visit us on the web at www.sistersbraid.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid Too, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid Too is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. For more information, 313-866-0000. The local number. Again, 313-866-0000.
Realities of COVID-19 make physical distance necessary, so we can still nurture social distancing and interpersonal connection.
Testing.
A greeting card. They may be check-in, but it's likely love, care, and concern is never locked out. Send someone a greeting card as well. We have a selection of unique handmade greeting cards available online at www.design.com. That's www.design.com. Now we share love, compassion, and expression, solidarity. By the way, we are all in this together.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Tanya, Virgin Islands. Views and opinions expressed on the following. Everyone is right. So make sure you're tested that what you feel you know with someone that has a different view than your own. Let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on the Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHPR or TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible? And if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to 0351. That's 313-868-0346, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now let's go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for Allah's righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. We hearing an echo in the phone. I wish you'd hurry up and take care of that. I have lots of things that I want to share with you. But, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught me that I am the Supreme Being. As the book teaches that the Lord was dead. And that's over there in the book of Revelation. It says, I am he that liveth and was dead. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to come and awaken me to the knowledge of myself. And I mean, if I truly believe that I'm the Supreme Being, then I should not be afraid to talk to people. If I truly understand what Supreme Being means, it has nothing to do with what my flesh is. As far as that goes, my flesh ain't no different than your flesh. What makes one man superior to another is the mind that's in the man. I'll show you an example. You recall, in the Avengers, when Captain America was riding in the, after Nick Fury had convinced him to join with them and be part of it, of what they was about to do. He was in there with the one of the head men of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he told Captain America, he said, I was watching you while you were asleep. And the captain looked at him, He said, what I meant was, But anyway, he went on and said, he said, he also, in having, when he told him about Bruce Banner being invited, he said, you talking about the Hulk or whatnot, and he said, when he's not that, he's like a Stephen Hawking. And see, Stephen Hawking was a man who was physically deformed, but his mind was the envy of a lot of folks. Huh? Yes. He was known for his mind, not for what he looked like. Now, if you can produce one other being on this earth that can open up the Holy Scriptures and guide you through them like me, well then, I want to meet them. And if you can't, then I'm the supreme being. We have a book. We have a book that has been around for thousands of years that people have been struggling to understand. And you have so much struggle in trying to understand the book that it has produced countless schools of thought. And all of it was guesswork. No one was able to open these books. Just like the book prophesied. No man in heaven, meaning no prophet, nor in the earth, no scholar, nor under the earth, no man that had lived and died was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. But you see me standing up here, opening it up and guiding you to where the answers to it is hidden in there and everything. So if I'm not the supreme being, who am I? I certainly have a superior mind to everybody else's that's on here, that's on this planet. You can't do what I can do. There's plenty of people that were equal to Stephen Hawking in that field of study that he was in. Show me my equal. Now, you know, when people have animosity towards you, if you are, like I claim to be, a man that wants peace with people, well, how can you claim that you want to have peace with someone if you do not open up a dialogue with them?
Excuse me, son, man. You sound kind of distant.
Brother Jamar, is there a problem in the room? Can you?
No, you should.
So, okay. So if I'm what I think I am, then I should be able to have conversations with people that at least feel that they have something against me. So I want to say to those of you, especially of the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads, the people who have such animosity towards Black people. I would like to open a dialogue with you. If it's something that I can do or undo that will change your feelings, if you make it known to me and it is reasonable, I'm willing to hear you and I'm willing to change. As I've already told you, if I was in your position and it had been told to me that after 6,000 years, someone was going to destroy all of my people, I'd try to defend my people too. I wouldn't just go quietly into oblivion. I would try to destroy them who was planning on destroying me. But now the truth has come to you that it was never your flesh that we was talking about destroying. And that's not just me changing teachings and whatnot. No, that's me showing you that the scriptures tell you that. For it is the scriptures that prophesied the destruction of the devil. Now, if you turn over here with me to Ephesians chapter 6, you see, I'm taking away any excuse you have to call yourself doing what you did to all these black people that you have mistreated. It's just like you. Now, if you want to talk to me, ma'am, I've just made you an opportunity, made it available to you. You see, without your pretended justification for hatred, you don't have nothing because you're lazy. You want to blame all of your poverty and all your problems on black people. It's not our fault that you in the shape you in, it's your fault. Living proof of it is standing here. I mean, I came from being your slave, not with your help to get me up here. No. A word from a man of God undid all of the fear, all of the threats, all of the terror that you put in me from time I was a baby. You're so foolish that you think that you can rule human beings forever with fear. You must then understand what Fannie Lou Hamer meant when she said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." So let me get back to this scripture here. This is the 6th chapter of Ephesians and the 12th verse. Well, I'm going to start at the 10th verse. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. Be strong in Allah and in the power of his might and in the knowledge of his understanding. Put on the whole armor of God." That's the second pillar of faith. That you must believe in all of the prophets and in all of their scriptures. Put on the whole armor of God. The Holy Quran says, "O children of Adam, we have indeed sent down to you armor to cover your shame." armor for beauty, an armor that guards against evil. That's the best. What is armor? It's a type of clothing. What is a flak jacket and a helmet? That's a type of clothing that you put on when you go in to fight a war. Is that right? Okay. It says, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the tricks of the devil. Remember we talked about Wiles as Wile E. Coyote? Remember him? He was full of tricks to trap that little bird, wasn't he? And it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. This ain't got nothing to do with the flesh of people. No, we ain't after the white man's flesh. No. It ain't about killing flesh. Flesh is not guilty of anything. But it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. All of the, I was looking up the definition of principality, and it kind of surprised me. So I'm going to read it to you here. Principality. A territory ruled by a prince. Now, what is one of the devil's names? The prince of darkness. And the whole world hath been his principality. Huh? Okay. Now it says, but against principalities, against powers. Knowledge is power. So powers with an S on it is different schools of knowledge. We wrestle against principalities, against powers, as the devil told Jesus, he showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the beauty of them, right? And he said, all this power will I give to you if you will just fall down and worship me, right? Humble yourself and let me put my knowledge in you. So every time you ship a word out of your mouth, it'll be my words. Huh? And so against powers, against the rulers, the minds, the rulers, the mind is what rules. Your flesh don't rule nothing. The mind that's in your flesh is the ruler. It's against the rulers of the darkness, the prince of darkness. Huh? Against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's deep, ain't it? So I want to, again, see, I'm not like you. Now, you've been running around here talking about you the superior, you the supreme, and you the let me see, superior white race. That's what you've been saying, you Ku Klux Klan people. And you know full well that just because you have the ability to blow up something and to murder with a might of arms and stuff, that you know that don't make you superior. You know that every time you go hunting to shoot an elephant or to shoot a lion or to go kill a tiger, you know that tiger got more strength than you. Yet if you just went in there with just your hand and whatnot and go jumped on one of them lions, you wind up his dinner. So brute force don't make nobody superior to somebody else. Now I'm gonna tell you something else. All of you who think that you got your chance now to mistreat a bunch of people, you didn't learn nothing from the Jewish people and the history of Hitler and what he did to them and what in the end they wind up doing to him. And everybody who tried to cop out and say, I just following orders. I couldn't, to hell with the order. I was just following orders, ain't gonna excuse you. As you would that men do to you, do ye also unto them. And I'm in 100% agreement with the Jewish people when they went after them people who murdered their people and tried to pretend or tried to use as an excuse that they were soldiers and they was following a soldier. A soldier don't go and murder a person that is defenseless. Soldiers don't come to their own people. Do you see what happened to Muammar Gaddafi, Mr. Trump? Did you see what happened to him? Ordering his people to bomb their own people? In the end, they pulled him out of a covert with his gold-plated pistol. And they took his pistol and killed him with it. And before he died, he tried to tell them, this is not Islam. He was telling them what they was doing was not Islam. Well, if he knew it was not Islam, for them to kill him, as they were about to do, did he know that it was not Islam for him to bomb people and kill and order the people to be killed that he was killing? Why would any of you follow in the footsteps of people who you saw what the end of them was? As bad as people that I've seen, I had a brother. It's just like when that man came in here and put the F word in front of Allah. I thought immediately about one of my older brothers who I had heard put the F word in front of God. And after I heard him say that, now this was before I was still a teenager when I heard my older brother say that. And it killed something inside of me for him. I never looked at him the same. And he might have been on drugs or whatever. But that just killed it for me. And one day, this was after I was grown and I had started practicing Islam. I got the word that my brother and the woman he was living with was found dead from shotgun blasts. And you know, I didn't feel nothing. I didn't feel nothing. And they said it was suicide. Well, as far as I was concerned, it was suicide when I heard him put the F word in front of God. Now you think you playing with some game here. You gonna find out this ain't no game. And to that white woman that keep coming in here and you keep writing me these little crazy letters, you better cut that foolishness out. Now I'm tired of you. Now I'm giving all of you, any of you that got a problem, a real problem with me and my people, I'm willing to discuss it with you. But I'm tired of you running around here with your unrighteous indignation, murdering my people, and thinking that you're going to just keep on getting away with it. No, you're not going to keep on getting away with it. And you know the sad thing is that if what you're doing was being done to you, you'd scream from here to high heaven. Now, if you have something that you want to say to me or whatnot to tell me what your problem is with me, I'm willing to hear you. Because it's nothing that I'm saying or doing that is meant to disrespect you. And I know that I don't deserve to be disrespected in exchange for what I'm standing up here saying. Now, if I can give you justice, I can give myself justice and demand justice for me. Now, what is it that you feel that you need to get off your chest that me and my people have done or are doing that offends you? What? It's time that we have this conversation. And not with some scared to death Negro that's scared that if he say something that's offend you, you gonna come get him. I'm not afraid you coming to get me. So I will be honest with you. I will talk to you man to man. then maybe we can bring an end to all of this foolishness. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting on you, white people, especially the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads, the people, the Nazi Party, the people the Trump supporters. You can come in here and I ain't nobody gonna ambush you. You come on in here and I will hear you. I want to know what is it you got against me and my people. Now I just showed you in the scripture that it never was about killing your white flesh. Never was. You were just allowed to think that so that you would be what we needed you to be, which is the devil. And so we put that curse on you. That mind that you have, we want to put it on. And we told you it would be on you until I showed up, till the day of judgment. Well, now I'm here to take that off. And to all of you, my people, who think that you got some revenge or something you need to try to get on white people, you ain't got no revenge to take on them. God, the one gave them the instructions of what to do. And they double checked him when he made them like that. He said, you made me error in here. I'm gonna make evil fast seeming to them on earth, and I'm gonna cause all of them to deviate. And he told them, he said, that's the right way with me. You done forgot. The serpent was part of that which God made, wasn't he? And what did he say? When the Lord God saw everything that he made, he said, it is very good. He didn't just say it's good. He said it's very good for what I made it for. That's the part he didn't that ain't in the book. I had to get that. Everything that Allah made is good for what it was made for. So I mean, there's one thing about the white man, you can't out-devil him. He been a good devil, haven't he? Okay, well now, it's time for us all to change. That's all. As I told you, I'm not here to bring judgment on you for what you done did for the past 6,000 years. That's forgiven. As long as you now remember that you were told to stop your work in the Sabbath day. So if you stop it now, well, all is forgiven. that's what the messenger said when he told many of my people who he knew were going to get mad at me. He said, if God wants to continue to let them live on the earth, he said, that's him and God. You just get that part that he give you and don't be worried over his. You can't say, I'm going against what the messenger taught. He told you there was white Muslims in America. Now, this is really going to shock you now. When the devil said, I'm going to make evil fast seeming to them on earth and cause them all to deviate, what is the word Muslim mean? One who submits to who? To God. So when the devil said to God, you made me Aaron and I'm going to make evil fast seeming to him, and God told him that's a right way with me. What was that saying to the devil? Go do it, huh? So he went and did it. Even the angels, they didn't know why the devil was made. And when the Lord said to the angels, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth, the only ruler they knew of was God. So I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. They said, you're going to place in it such as make mischief in it and shed blood in it? Well, we celebrate your praise and extol your holiness. His response to them was, surely I know what you know not. I understand something that you don't understand. So, you remember that song, 110 Soldier? Remember them words in that? It say, go ahead and hate your neighbor. Go ahead and cheat a friend. Do it in what? Do it in the name of heaven. You'll be justified where? In the end. You see? So, they was Muslim. Die not unless what? Unless you are Muslim. Sin not unless you are Muslim. The wages of sin is what? So, as in Adam, all died. Why? Because Adam was given dominion over everybody. Who was Adam? Adam was the devil. Do you understand? So now it's time for all to be brought back. Since all have sinned and fallen short of the understanding of God. Ain't none of you was able to open this book and to explain the knowledge that's in it. Not one of you. So all have sinned and fallen short of the Holy Scriptures. So now all must be resurrected. All must be brought back to the truth. And that's my job. So that's what I'm offering you now. It's like Jesus gave a parable of it when he said to me, the kingdom of heaven was like unto a man that went out seeking laborers. And he went out early in the morning and he hired some and told them that at the end he would give them a penny. And so around the end of the day, he went out and saw some men just standing around. He said, why are you standing around here idle? He said, because no man have hired them. And he said, well, you go into my vineyard and labor, and I will give you what is right. And so when it came time and they saw him giving everybody a penny, the ones who had been out there all day, they said, well, are you giving them the same thing you gave us? And we've been out here all day. And he said, sir, did I not agree with you for a penny to start with? And he said, yeah. He said, well, then you take your penny and you take that which is yours and go. And I'll do what I want with what's mine. In so many words, I'm paraphrasing. Now, since I'm the one with the understanding and with the salvation, I give it to whoever I want. And it's not up to you to tell me who's saved. If it's not for all, it's not for any. Because even the devil didn't know why he was made. So you just let me do what I'm here to do. If it was your job, then it'll be on you. But it ain't your job. It's my job. And every one of you going to be answerable, and you are going to pay the price. In your body. And you worrying about what's outside you. You better be worrying about what's Allah going to do inside of you. So you in the middle of a pandemic that you don't yet understand how this thing keeps on. You think it don't affect this group, and then the next thing you know, it's affecting that group that you said it don't affect. And next thing you know is I got babies. And you still ain't woke up to what's going on. You are being judged. And it's my duty to warn you. Ain't my fault because you don't pay no attention. So I don't want any of you that feel the need to talk to me. You talk to me. You and get it off of you. The scripture says the Son of Man have power on earth to forgive sins. It's like you go into a courtroom, judge have power in that courtroom to forgive crimes. Some crimes. He ain't quite got the power that I have. But it's some crimes he can't forgive, and some crimes I can't forgive. One crime I cannot forgive. The scripture says, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto me, but the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven, neither in this world nor the world to come. And I know it's true because when I heard my brother use that word F God? What in the world wrong with you? Now, I never forgave him. No. And it's like you've heard white people use the term, that's beyond the pale. You know what that means? I beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was called what? Death. Well, it's one thing that's beyond death, beyond ignorance. You're supposed to know better than to put the F word in front of God. Something inside of us makes us know better. How many people have you ever heard say that? Even atheists. You've never heard an atheist use that kind of language. I know I haven't. It's just certain things you don't fix your mouth to say. They are beyond the pale horse. No, I don't forgive you. Now, so, just like I hear people now acting like they just now meeting Donald Trump. Or you sit up and tell that lie like you just now finding out that Donald Trump don't respect God. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Condemning the president's photo op at St. John's Church, saying it's the exact opposite of what Jesus would do. Father James Martin joins me next. You're watching Andrew Mitchell Reports only on MSNBC. We hope our digital... St. And the First Lady went to St. John Paul II's National Shrine in Washington, D.C., where they laid a wreath and observed a moment of silence. Last night, the president, of course, stood in front of St. John's Episcopal Church holding a Bible for a brief photo op, but without any notice to the church or to the diocese. Father James Martin, a Jesuit priest and editor-at-large of America, a Catholic magazine, tweeted, "Let me be clear, this is revolting. The Bible is not a prop. A church is not a photo op. Religion is not a political tool. God is not your plaything." Father James Martin is the editor-at-large of America, the Catholic magazine, and Reverend Marion Buddy is the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, D.C., and they're both joining me now. Thanks so much. Father Martin, first to you. I presume that the president's trip to the shrine of St. John Paul II was pre-approved, that the church, the Catholic Archdiocese was well.
Why is it that she says she assumed it was pre-approved? Because the Constitution makes it clear that the church is not under the authority of the government. I mean, a president, he may be president, but he can't just go and use whatever church he pleases for his political end. It just don't work like that. The church does not answer to the president. And then she apologizes because she thought it had been pre-approved. But, you know, the more I see since Donald Trump became president, I'm finally realizing how this government works. I didn't really understand that the majority rule means that whoever is the majority in the Senate and the majority in the House of Representatives, they rule. They you know, if they want to bring something to the floor, they bring it to the floor. If they don't want to bring it to the floor, they don't bring it to the floor. I didn't know that's how it went until now. So you know, it's just like, you know, she's there apologizing to the priest because she thought it had been pre-approved. Because if it wasn't approved by the church, then cameras shouldn't have been there doing it. I mean, you know, I mean, you can't just go to people's religious places and religious houses and put them on camera if they don't want you doing that. Any more than that priest can come in on the White House lawn and or walk up into the state capitol and just start having church and preaching. But anyway,
Medical tool. God is not your plaything. Father James Martin is the editor-at-large of America, the Catholic magazine, and Reverend Marion Buddy is the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, D.C., and they both join me now. Thanks so much. Father Martin, first to you. I presume that the President's trip to the shrine of St. John Paul II was pre-approved, that the Church, the Catholic Archdiocese was well aware of that.
Well, apparently not, because the Archbishop of Washington, Archbishop Wilton Gregory this morning, just condemned it as baffling and reprehensible, and saying that it was amazing to him that a shrine would be used in that way, and that a religious site would be manipulated in that way. And so he clearly thought of it in the same way that, you know, that the bishop, the Episcopal bishop, objected to the use of her church, or the diocese's church, as a photo op. And so I sometimes wonder, you know, does he know what John Paul stood for? Does he know that this is a pope who actually worked with protesters during the Solidarity movement in Poland? Does he know that Jesus talks about blessed are the peacemakers? So I think these are apparently just photo ops where he's using religion and religious imagery to bolster his political situation.
And Father, I apologize because I assumed, since it was on his schedule, unlike what he did last night, that this had been worked out with the Archdiocese. And I have to confess to being shocked by that. I should have known, that was my error. To Bishop Buddy, I listened to you last night when you first expressed your outrage. Let's talk about what happened at St. John's, which took all of us, and certainly a lot of the peaceful protesters who were cleared from Lafayette Square.
now I'll tell you what the outrage is. The outrage is that you knew, all of you did, the news media and the religious world, you knew Donald Trump was unfit to be president when he was running. He showed you that. Nicknaming people, insulting people, getting in the public, and you're a woman had worked for this country since she was a teenager, had been a senator, never any didn't nobody say righteousness was the requirement for being a senator. Nor being the president. I'm not saying that you should have been righteous or whatever. You couldn't be righteous if you had wanted to. But Miss Clinton had served this country as a senator, as a first lady, as a secretary of state. She had more positions than the average man ever had that ran for president. And Donald Trump was known for being just what and he ain't changed. He's still the same man right now that he was when he was elected. And you want to act like now you surprised? Donald Trump ain't the one who actually been faking. Y'all the one who been faking. And his presence and his position as president of the United States is proof to all the world that the evangelicals ain't nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. Faking. That old Pat Robertson and all of them talking about supporting Donald Trump. And look at the kind of judges he putting in office and the kind of people he appoint to be over government agencies and departments. People who are unqualified and could give less than a tinker's damn about the people that they're supposed to be looking out for. You heard from Donald Trump's own mouth. He said, when you're a celebrity, you can do whatever you want to, grab them by their genitals or whatever, and they let you do it. What he say? I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. That what he said? And wouldn't lose no support. If people saw him do it, just like you saw this man get murdered right there this black man get murdered by 3 officers right there on camera in front of the whole country. And he ain't said a word. If any other president had been silent like that, ain't no way he'd be talking about running again. They'd be too busy trying to get him out that office. But Donald Trump, he ain't even faking it like he cared. He ain't acting like he cared, did he? No. And you hypocrites out there, that's in the Ku Klux Klan and in all these other things and whatnot, see, you pretend that you got something against us. And then when I ask you, well, what is it? You don't say nothing. It's because you know we ain't done nothing to you. I ain't did nothing to you. Ain't no wonder David said, depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. Standing up in front of when you take the American flag and flip it upside down and fly it, it means that the government is in trouble. That's a sign that there's a problem in that building. That's a problem. He held the Bible upside down, then you know there's a problem here. It's a problem here. The news media say he still got the support of the evangelicals. Yeah. You can't fake it no more. Donald Trump has made it impossible for you to fake like you believe in God. He is as good as saying, oh, you believe in God, do you? Well, what you doing over here supporting me? That's huh? Yeah. Make you wonder whose side he on, huh? There ain't nobody come to Allah but as a servant. Period. And sometime in order to, you want to catch a certain type of pigeon for your flock, you throw your flock up there and see how many join with it. Do you understand? That's birds of a feather. Yeah. So I'm listening to them acting like they just now discovering that Donald Trump does not have any religious beliefs or fear of God. I mean, what do you? Yeah. Well, let's hear some more.
No, it was before the curfew had even taken place, which Mayor Bowser has objected to as well.
Right. I mean, it's the entire scenario, starting from his very worrisome militaristic remarks at the Rose Garden, threatening military force to any state that he doesn't deem adequately responding to the protests, then having the park and the front of the church courtyard cleared with tear gas and officers in riot gear, and then standing before the church holding our sacred texts as if they were symbols that he could appropriate to bolster his, or to vindicate or to authorize his political and statements and positions. And we just felt, I mean, the real outrage is what's happened in our country. The real outrage is the racial violence that has been perpetrated against people of color for generations. But to use the symbols and the sacred spaces of our tradition to justify or to bolster his positions was something that we had to address immediately and disassociate ourselves from completely.
I want to say that I hope that you all that's hearing me don't forget that Russia had meddled in the last election through false information and misleading information and putting things on the internet that fostered, or as they say, fomented division among the American people. You know, as you look at those protests, and you see black, white, brown, yellow. And that's one thing. I was listening to President Obama, former President Obama, speak. And he was right. He may have been too young to remember it as accurately, but I can remember that those riots, when Mr. Deadwater, for instance, got killed by a police officer that said his gun accidentally went off when the car lunged forward. Well, anyway, nobody even asked him, well, what was you doing with your gun pointing at the man with your finger on the trigger in the first place? But anyway, most of the footage that you saw of riots or whatnot, it was just mostly black people in there. When you look at these protests, it's not mostly black people. It's mostly Americans who like the president, the former president, Obama. He observed that, and I did too. There's a lot of white people walking there with and protesting. That's the thing that makes me hope that America fulfills Nineveh. You know, that's the only place where God sent a warner, and they heeded the warning. When Jonah was sent to Nineveh. And as I see young white people, old white people, I even saw a couple of police officers. They were middle-aged, looked like to me. A black one and a white one was kneeling down. Let me see, I might have this.
Important. The communities where officers have said to the demonstrators, we're with you. Also being shared across this nation, and they're just as important. The communities where officers have said to the demonstrators,
Now, they are, I mean, all of the officers ain't crazy. I mean, you see, you know, when I saw this, it reminded me of George Washington's vision, where he saw the dark red cloud over America, and then at some point, the angel with the azure reminded them that they are brethren, and that they should not be divided against themselves. I don't know how many other nations I don't know of any other nation that has a history of the United States, of being composed of dissatisfied immigrants. We the only people, the ex-slave of America, the black man. Now, it's black people over here now that immigrated to America on the hope, the promise of a better world, of a better life. And you know, I can't sit back and let myself be used to help tear up something that offers hope to so many people, even with its flaws. the mere fact you see me, I'm standing up here saying things that I know that people in some people in the government don't want to hear, don't like it. Ain't nobody breaking my door down and come in here to drag me out of here. That's worth defending. So let's watch this.
We're with you. Officers kneeling during a rally in Coral Gables, Florida. In Santa Cruz, California, Police Chief Andy Mills kneeling with protesters. His department.
See? Now just cause the man in the White House talking tough and talking about what he gonna do to the rest, do that look like they going along with that? Oh, I thank every one of them officers that see that what was done and what is being done by people, by pretenders in those uniforms, people who put that uniform on pretending and using it as a shield to commit murder. I appreciate the fact that some of those who put those uniforms on, they stand for what that uniform is supposed to stand for. It's just like me, as I was saying, there was a time when it wasn't long ago, when people who call themselves Muslims was bombing places and going in places, shooting up people and declaring that they fighting a holy war. It wasn't up to the police and the politicians to straighten that out. It was my duty as a Muslim to straighten that out and say, that's not what Islam is. That's not what I stand for. That's not what the religion of Islam is. We are not terrorists. And if we didn't speak out against it, then who's supposed to speak out against it? You've heard police chiefs condemn what happened to George in that George Floyd in that video. More than one have spoke out against it. You heard the mayor of Minnesota speak out against it and ask, why aren't these people in jail? Tell me something. How do you fire them, but you don't arrest them? Then what did you fire them for? And I'm not the only one who thinks like that, obviously. All these people all over the country have seen that. Black, white, brown, yellow. And all of them, we are all in agreement that you just can't. We actually watched a man be murdered right in front of us. And while it was happening, I was just sitting there. I was dumbfounded that he got his knee on that man's neck and his hand in his pocket, pressing down on his leg. And you know, I was waiting. Well, I guess he's gonna let him up in, because they told him, get up. And the other two that was holding him, one of them said, get up and get in the car right. Which told me that, well, they finna get him up. But that was just playing to the camera that they was trying to make it sound like he was cooperating. They intended to kill him when they first took him out of their vehicle. Because if not, why did they take him and sit him on the sidewalk first? I mean, if you're gonna sit him on the sidewalk and you knew you was gonna arrest him, why didn't you just take him on, sit him in the car? And you know the difference in me and you, who hate me so much. If I had saw that done to you, I would be angry about it. You don't have a right. It's just like when that Billy Jack. There was one line in there where he said, when those who are supposed to uphold the law break the law, then there is no law. Only you know, the sad thing is, you all act like you don't understand the need or the importance of obeying the law. But when I see you at them football games watching, if a man step on the line and they don't call it, you be raising hell, talking about, he stepped out bound. That ain't no good. What? He didn't do nothing, broke a rule. You care more about sports than you do about your real life out there that you call police officers. Police officers that conveniently the camera recording of what was happening while they was doing that to George Floyd. The only thing I can think of is you want to doctor something up before you let us get it. Because, and until you put a stop to this kind of stuff, you're not really trying to go after justice. Because I guarantee you wouldn't be no doctoring if that had been a white man that was laying down there on that pavement that we watched the life go out of because 3 officers murdered him there in front of us. You better stop doing to other people what you wouldn't want done to you. Put your phone back on mute. You got something you want to ask me, you ask, but don't unmute your phone just to chime in. Don't do that.
I think it was 4 men, not 4 officers, not 3, 4.
Well, I was talking about the 3 that was holding him down. the fourth one was standing there, that Asian fellow was standing there as though he's protecting them in what they're doing.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
That's, I was talking about the ones who had hands on. Now he's guilty too of standing there watching it happen. Right. I'm telling you, y'all better cut this stuff out. Remember, it is written, as thou hast done, so shall it be done unto you. To those who have shown no mercy, you done forgot something. Every crime and penalty that the law prescribes, the government that made that law is the one that carries out the judgment and the punishment. God is the one that said, as thou hast done, so shall it be done unto you. Okay. All right, a lot of stuff's already happening. I just ain't said nothing. But the judgment done already began. It's done started at the house of God. Talking about this stuff is affecting more black people and everything. That's just the beginning. And in the end, it's just the beginning. It's just starting at my house. Okay? You walk around here acting like you got some kind of immunity from the chastisement of Allah. Ain't nobody immune from Allah's chastisement. Including me. As he said, you warn them, and if you don't warn them, they gonna die in their iniquity, but I'm gonna hold you responsible. No, I'm warning you. And you better stop your foolishness. But that's this image here, right?
Saying it was in memory of George Floyd and bringing attention to police violence against black people. The protesters themselves reaching out, trying to break.
What do you say he gonna send the army in there? Do you honestly think that you're gonna get the armed forces of the United States to murder their own people? Those are the sons and daughters of many of the people that you think you're gonna send them in there to kill. The brothers and the sisters of those people that's you sending them in there thinking they're gonna kill them for you. Told them put bayonets on their brother. Where you gonna put a bayonet on the end of a rifle for it to go to break up a demonstration? Remember, I told you that there's no country on earth powerful enough to destroy the United States. So the only thing you can try to do is, your enemies, the only thing they can do is try to get you to destroy yourselves. How? Divide you against one another. Take your differences and make them bigger. That's what was practiced on us in slavery. You must pit the light skinned one against the dark skinned. The old one against the young one, and the young one against the old one. The male against the female, and the female against the male. You have to put them against each other. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that at one short moment in time that I was judging people by their skin. That I wasn't doing that. I was doing that. I look at white people. I told white people right here on the radio that I didn't want to do nothing for them but throw them in hell. And some of y'all heard me tell that. Well, that was my ignorance talking. Because I believed it at the time. But I outgrew that, especially every time I looked at it. I used to wonder. So I asked other people the same question. Because if I had met Master Farad Muhammad's mother, I would probably call her that devil. And what's that devil doing in there? Don't want that devil around here. And so what helped me to grow was the theology of time. When the messenger said, he said, you go by his skin because you didn't know who was up under the skin. You go by his color because you didn't know who was up under the color. And when I heard him say that, I had to go and study some more, and then I found Ephesians. It says it's not flesh and blood that we're fighting, but the rulers, the minds that's in the flesh and blood. It's the same mind that's in the Caucasian. That mind is prevalent throughout the earth. Everybody got their uniforms on like football teams and stuff. Everybody wearing their colors. And even in war, everybody wearing their different uniforms, so you know who to shoot at. You see that uniform and shoot it. Right? But that's how it goes. And that's what we've been doing. Well, it's time to grow out of it. When we were children, we thought as children, we spoke as children. But when we become men and women, we put away the childish thinking. So I can't act like that because I know better. I just can't do that no more. I can't get with you on that. But I don't say it out of fear. I say it because of the knowledge that I possess. It's just like many of you, my people, you go and try to make peace with white folks because you're scared of them. And that's why your words are empty. I don't try to make peace with them because I'm afraid of them. I try to make peace with them because that's what Allah wants me to do. But He have already told me that the forces of nature have been ordered to fight on my side. So if they won't let me be at peace with them, I can make war. So we don't have to go trying to start nothing with nobody. Because everything is arms for me. Your own blood that's in your veins can be ordered to clot and kill you. So we ain't worried about what you think you're gonna do. So we can talk peace now. Because I do not, as I said, I don't hate nobody because of their skin color and all that. No. If I hate you, it ain't because of what you look like. It's because of what I see you doing. And if you stop that evil doing of yours, then you have taken away my reason for hating you. So you don't come up to me with your mistaken religion, tell my God don't hate nobody. You don't know what. If God don't hate nobody, what was hell prepared for? About silly as the days is long. So anyway, I ain't got no time to be talking to you. You're a coward. You run around here trying to pretend to be a freedom fighter. How you gonna free me and your mind as a slave? You better get behind me. So I know that the history, most of us were taught the history, and we lived in it, the history of what happened to military dictatorships. They all end bad because trying to rule the human family. I tell you what, think back when you was in elementary school and somebody bullied you. Did you eventually love the bully? Or did your hatred steady build up and steady grow? Huh? That's why no bully ever lasts. Because soon, that's the one thing about human beings. Let me tell you something about us. Now, human beings are basically 3/4 water. And as you heat water, it boils at 212 degrees. And so, as it's boiling, it's steaming. Huh? Now, if you don't have, that's the one thing that the founding fathers, they didn't actually go through all of this with us. You have to grow to understand that, when you look at wisdom, if you practice the wisdom, then you get you can get the understanding of why you were told to practice that. The founding fathers of America were not fools. Proof of that, they believed in God. Even the Pledge of Allegiance, it invokes God. It says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. And as long as it stays under God, it's indivisible. You won't be able to divide them because the Word of God says that that's one of the 7 things that he hates. Is he that sows discord, that sows division among brethren. So you don't have to wonder how Allah feels about what you're doing, Mr. Trump. You better go and read that book that you was holding up. You in this sowing division among brethren. You making yourself the target of the wrong one. If God don't like what you're doing, and he does not, he soon will put an end to what you're doing. You need to stop sowing division among the people of the United States, and you need to start sowing union and unity. Okay? But anyway, as you look at the practice of what the Constitution says, the right of the people, the right of peaceful assembly. Why did they make that right? Because somebody knew that having people upset when they have grievances, if they are upset with no way of redressing their grievances, it will build. And like anything with water in it, if you put fire upon it and stay heating it, I don't care what kind of, it can be the most tough container. All you have there is a bomb, and it's going to eventually explode. When people can't have a pressure release valve, that's what demonstrations are for the people of this particular republic. The right of peaceful assembly to address the government, to redress their grievances with the government and its failure or its lack of attention to something that the people are suffering. And sending some military people in there to try to frighten them. You ever saw somebody mad that really was mad? When a person is really angry, anger is there. You can't put fear in that person till anger is out the way. You better remember that. There's a whole lot of people who thought that they could terrorize people who was angry. And they found out it don't work. You gonna find that out too. You keep on. You better learn something about the laws of physics. I done seen bullets. I done seen people get so mad at somebody who kept bullying them. I done seen a person get so mad that they start screaming and ran right into that person that was bullying them. And man, yeah, he was sorry after that. Should have left him alone. Caught him totally by surprise. Huh? Yeah. I even seen that with dogs. Remember this old dog used to come in our yard? And
Get the hell out.
you know, you pretend to be following me, but you keep doing things that I told you not to do. And you seem to think I'm sorry will fix it. So I told you, I don't care what you just, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So, you know, the truth does not need any help to be the truth. I'm not saying what I'm saying as an entertainment for you. So the lesson is that America, the United States of America, has had what you say 200 years of history where people, when they were angry, instead of trying to overthrow their government, they protested and aired their grievances and brought about reasonable change through peaceful means. Because when you can talk, and one who you have a grievance against, when that person or that entity, that government is willing to listen, then there's no need for violent action. Communication is taking place. Then when you address the problem, it's like taking the water off the fire. It'll cool back down. Do you understand? Yes. You notice, no matter how vigorously a pot of water is boiling, the minute you take it away from the fire, about 30 seconds will go and you'll stop seeing the bubbling. Then it'll just sit there. Now it takes time to cool off now, but it begins immediately to simmer down and cool down. You notice those are words that we use oftentimes when people are angry and whatnot. They say, hey, simmer down. Huh? Yeah. So, I was listening to, President Obama, former President Obama was talking about the young people. He one of the young people. He man ain't but 50. He ain't even 59 years old yet. So anyway, he was talking about how the young people give him hope. Yes, he one of the young people that gave me hope. That I'm 11 years older than him. He was one of the young people that gave me hope when I saw him and Joe Biden and how they work together and how he always kept a cool head, and him and Vice President Biden. I used to be waiting on them to say, well, if they say this man is a loose cannon, then got out there and come to find out that what they call a loose cannon was just Joe Biden was just real, man. You could tell he's comfortable in his own skin, and that's good. That's a good thing when a man is not so self-conscious that he's worried all the time about what somebody gonna think or what somebody gonna say. But that's one thing I'll give Donald Trump. He's somewhat comfortable being himself. It's just that his self is not presidential. And just like when he was on that Hollywood Access tape, he was just as comfortable as he could be talking with that young man about what he'd been doing. And he knows that behind. It's just like them who sit up there and do all that woofing like they some little choir boys or something. I know better than that. Some of them parties he was going to and all of them on Lindsey Graham and all the rest of them was there. And doing some of everything that he was doing. And so that's why they ain't saying too much. Because he got so much on. Oh no. But it was me. It's just like people, I don't care. I don't care what kind of embarrassing thing you think you gonna find on me. I'm not gonna be your puppet. You ain't been good enough for me to be shamed in front of you. So, ain't none of you been righteous. So, I'm the kind of person that, if I feel you wrong, I'll tell you. And that's that. I don't care what you tell on me. I'm going to tell you when I think you're wrong. There ain't too much you can tell on me that I ain't already told on myself. Because, I don't just keep on repeating the same mistakes. I can remember stuff I did when I was in junior high school. This one sister, because some of the brothers was joining her, and I slapped her on behind, and she looked at me and said, I guess that made you feel pretty big. It made me feel that small, because, I liked her and everything, but I had a moment that I ain't had no been touching her. And, but I never did nothing like that again. Because she shamed me. And I'll tell you something else. You sisters and you women out there, you need to quit you need to quit acting like everything is that man's fault. Because y'all be doing stuff yourself. I done seen that too. I grew up watching women, married women, doing stuff they ain't had no business. I done seen some stuff in my life. So ain't none of you got no stones to throw at nobody. But when you see somebody who got no shame, who would wear that like a badge of honor, well, that's you can't be my president. I'm sorry, but with you it's different. Now you want to try to throw some of these ads out there about some women talking about what Joe Biden this or Joe Biden that. You can forget that because you done already said you don't care because you got a man up there that voluntarily told you he did them things and you ain't caring about nothing. You didn't say you ain't said nothing. You still voted for him. So you just keep your mouth off of Joe Biden. Coming up here with some 30-some years ago garbage. How many of you got fired because he couldn't have his way with you? Lying. You know, I ain't forgot what you did to Dr. Cosby. And some of the very ones who put him up to doing that. Remember what the Monica Lewinsky woman did to President Clinton? Kept the dress with the stuff on it. Why? Sent over there to embarrass him. Huh? You may play for stupid, but I ain't stupid. So she's innocent, huh? Yeah, right. Anyway, so I'm going to, look how mad you get. You get mad because I told the truth. Sick of you acting like you, all of us, whatever happened to equality, women's equality? How come you don't bring it up in that? He took advantage of me. He took misadvantage of me. What did you say while he was doing? What was you doing while he was taking misadvantage?
Excuse me, some man.
What is it, sister?
I wonder did the Black Caucus and the
Look, no, we ain't going there.
All right.
No. So I'm telling all of you, if you want to come out and make accusations, you make sure you tell what you did. As though somebody just walked up and just did something to you. You didn't have nothing to do with that, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going, but I was really happy that I happened to catch that little clip.
Down barriers too. In Los Angeles, near the steps of City Hall, a protester shaking the hand of the National Guardsman after others shouted insults. That demonstrator wanted him to know this goes both ways. I respect you too.
And even though some of the people was throwing insults at the National Guard, they were not there trying to beat them people down with the butts of their rifles and stuff. And that's the difference in the American military and a military dictatorship. You see, the American military is composed of the sons and daughters of the people that they are protecting. And most of them is volunteers. Matter of fact, the whole American armed forces now is volunteers. They sure didn't volunteer so they could come back and beat up their own people. When I was in the Marine Corps, you couldn't send me back to beat up on my own people. I ain't never been that stupid. And I can pretty much speak with authority that most of them that's in the military now, they ain't that stupid either. We know the history of, if nothing else, they know the history of what happened to soldiers who decided to murder civilians. A day of reckoning is coming. You don't believe it, you better study the history of the Jews and Hitler. And all them folks that decided that they was going to go along with him in his unjust treatment of those people. Knowingly marching people into death and to be burned to death. You call yourself a soldier? You call yourself a patriot? Men, women, and babies, you just march them in there and kill them. No. Mm-mm. No. No, you are a murderer. And you commit crimes against your own humanity. Human nature is supposed to make you not do that. Oh, no.
In Denver, many of the young people taking a moment to help clean up their city. They want people there to know that the destruction, what you see, that's not what they stand for. And in Flint, Michigan, County Sheriff Chris Swanson, who told members of the community there, I am here for you, we hear you, we are here to protect you. The only reason we're here is to make sure that you got a voice, that's it. Don't think for a second that he represents who these cops are all over the county and around the station. We go out there to help people, not do that nonsense. There we go. I'm going to tell you, we want to be with y'all for real. So I took the helmet off and laid the batons down. I want to make this a parade, not a protest. These cops love you. That cop in there hugs people. So you tell us what you need to do. The crowd chanting, walk with us. That's exactly what he does.
So we I'm always thankful to see people showing respect to my people. And my teacher taught me, he said, you don't disrespect people who are trying to respect you. So I wish all of you who empathize with our plight at the hands of some who look like you. I really appreciate the fact that you will speak out against it now and that you will stand up against it and say that that's enough. No more. And to you, I say thank you. And I wish you and your family well. I wish you and your people well. As much as I would like you to wish well to me and mine. So, I think I need to at least talk a little bit from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And because as he was saying some things that I've taught on before, but maybe you will listen closer. So give me a minute here.
That is written in the Bible, that they love the praise of this world. This we see. As long as they have seen me at this divine work, while the river don't have honor in Chicago, if you are here, Reverend, I'm glad that you may hear this. In some places, they don't want to even see you. When you talk about Christianity, they want to kill you.
See, and that's the one thing that you cannot claim when you have true religion. True religion does not make you want to murder the flesh of anyone. True religion, when you truly understand it, is not about murdering flesh. It's about killing the mind that controls the flesh, that instructs that person, as Jesus said, he that sinneth is the servant of a sinful mind. Do you understand? And you cannot kill a mind with a bullet or blow it up with a bomb. The only thing that you can do with a corrupt mind is to hurl incorruption against it until it cannot refute anything. It's just like right now. You notice I'm speaking truth. And that I don't defend the truth. The truth defends itself and it defends me. That's why I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours. And yet no one can present an argument against what I say because what I'm saying is the truth. It does not leave room for doubt. If you have doubt of something that I'm saying to be true, let me hear it. So you see, you can say anything if you know what you're saying and can prove what you are saying. I'm the supreme being. That's not for you to know, that was for you to know. And you will find it out later. But I gave you a quick way to prove it, in that I'm able to do what no other being on this earth can do. And that is open up books that have been closed to everyone else and guide you through those books and make clear to you that which was a mystery, including God. If I had not told you that God means grantor of dominion, you never would have known. You see? Supreme knowledge. That's why it says God has 100 attributes. One of those attributes is that he's the grantor of dominion. God is the truth. God is the light. God is the beneficent. God is the merciful. See? All of those things are states of being. You see? So it's much to be learned. And I'm here to teach it to you. And I'm here to teach it to whoever wants it. Ain't got no picks and chooses. I'm gonna teach whoever want to listen.
Excuse me, son.
Yes.
You have a statement from Derek Ali, and he says, "Son of man, I am the chosen one to bring a vision in a book."
You telling me you're the chosen one to put a what? A vision in a book? To bring what?
To bring a vision in a book.
To bring a vision in a book? Chosen by who to do it? Tell him, come on in. Talk to me. I'll be happy to talk with him. Like I said, if I think that I have supreme knowledge, then I should not be afraid to have a conversation with someone who may want to put forth a disagreement with me. So, but anyway, while you getting up your courage or whatever, I'm gonna play the messenger's verse again.
Once upon a time, you loved to call that line to preach the devil Christianity over there.
Everything that you have had, that's the devil's knowledge. That's what he was given. Christianity, the devil's religion. It didn't come from Allah. And the white man admit that. You heard Rabbi Miller, he acknowledged that, because he knew it, that I already knew it. As I told him, Judaism and Christianity didn't come from Allah. He said, It didn't come from God. And said, that's right. No, it didn't. It came from white people. All of the religions that you have came from them. That's why they all lead you back to them. You got to go to them to get the understanding of it. You see, so, I mean, I don't blame them. They were given dominion. It's written, it said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have what? Dominion over every creeping thing that creepeth up on the earth. And he was told he had 6,000 years to do his work. So, you don't hear the white man come in and tell me that Christianity came from God. He knows that God, no, it didn't. It came from him. And his dominion came from God.
That's what it is the devil's Christianity. Come up from this past hour knowledge over, and I will show you that it's the devil's religion and not yours. It's a lie that the devil used a good meaning on to make you believe it. Oh, Mr. Muhammad called Christianity a lie, yes. And I can make you out a lie if you believe it. I'm here against the world of the enemy who calls his religion Christianity, and against you that believe it. I'm here against God being his father. That the devil in a lake of fire with his false prophet, a rebel who preaches Christianity, is the false prophet that the book is referring to. Who is down with his name. You love to be called Reverend Jackson, Reverend John. Don't know that you're being called after the devil's name. This is the devil's name. Reverend, that you're being called by, and Reverend, you will be dumped into a lake of fire with him. If you don't come on and go along with Elijah Muhammad. I'm very happy to have you distinguished brothers here of the profession of doctrine, dentist, and TV. Dr. Edward Pullen, I guess that's the way it's something there. And if I'm wrong in pronouncing your name.
Now, I want you to remember now, he wasn't lying to you about telling you your religion is false. God never sent a religion called Christianity. He never sent a religion called Judaism. He never sent a religion other than entire submission to his will. That is Islam. If you recall, God told Adam in your understanding that of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, thou shalt not eat of that tree. And the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. So the serpent came and slid up next to Eve and told her, said, yeah, God said you shouldn't eat off that tree. He just know you're going to be equal to him when you eat of it. And so she ate, and then she gave it to Adam, and he ate. And in the end, God hasn't you ate off that tree, and I told you not to eat off of it. Adam did something that God told him not to do. And that's what got him put out of the garden. Entire submission to the will of God is God's religion. Is that right? Okay. So, that is Islam. And so, we in a day and time where there's a new Islam. Remember now, Islam for the past 6,000 years have been the devil being in charge. That was God's will. It is appointed once unto men to what? To die. Die not, unless what? Unless you are fulfilling the will of God. Okay. That's why the messenger said, Islam of Muhammad of 1400 years ago, he said that served that day, served that time. We need a new Islam to serve this day. Why? Because the will of the God now that's standing here talking to you is righteousness, that we all be righteous. We ought to be sick and tired of evil by now. The whole world is lying in wickedness now. And look at it. You ought to be tired of this now. So it is time to, as the book says, return. The dominion to return to the Lord. Yes. So I'm giving you a chance. Giving everybody a chance. I don't care what you did. Don't care what you're guilty of. For this past 6,000 years, it's all forgiven. We're going to start over. And you start with a clean slate. Now come on, get with me. Let's change your mind. And by changing the mind of a man, you change the whole man. And if you don't believe that, think about when you was 5 years old. When you was 5 years old, you had a different mind than you have right now. When you 20. You remember what you wanted for Christmas when you was 5? Will that satisfy you now? You would consider it an insult for somebody to give you something that you wanted at 5 years old to give it to you, offer it to you now as a Christmas present. You'd ask them, what's wrong with you? That's what you would say to them, because you're not the same person. And it's pretty safe to say that if things keep going like they're going, you 20 now, when you get 40, you're not going to be the same person you was at 20. So, now, it's just like this right here. Now, didn't I give him a chance to come in here and tell me whatever it is that he got a problem with me? What is your problem with me, mister? What? Oh, you want me to roll around in the mud with you? Is that what that? I don't do that no more. We ain't into that. You're doing what people used to do when I was in elementary school. They'd see a smart student, and because they wasn't as smart as that person, they would call them names. And sometimes they'd even jump on them and beat them up. But you won't be jumping on me. So all you can do is sit there and pretend to be indignant and angry. You ain't even got no real anger there. Because in order to really have anger against me, I have been and done something to you. I ain't did nothing to you. And you're such a coward that you can't even come in and hold a conversation with me. You sound to me like you the faggot. Men don't do that, what you just did. Ain't that something? What he did? He left after he said that? Sir? Yes, sir. No. Man. Well, I guess he thought I was going to put him out. No, I told you, I'm very comfortable being who I am. You see? You know, so I can talk to anybody. You know, but you like the person throw their rock and run and he upset. Now, didn't I give him a chance to come in here and say whatever it is that he thought he had against black people? Huh? You are an embarrassment to white people. I'm just telling you. There's a lot of white folks that are embarrassed. I've even had some of them try to apologize to me for you. I tell them, you don't owe me no apology for that fool. You know, he's a fool. You know, if he thought he had anything, he would take me up on the invitation to come in and have a discussion. Mr. Thomas Robb. Now, that man, he came in here twice. And first time, it was a little rocky, but it didn't get out of order. And the second time, we had a conversation, and he said he ain't had no problem with me. Well, that's because I'm not going to do something that you know, man tell you to leave his daughter alone, leave the man's daughter alone. Huh? You got black women, why you want to run over there and grab the white woman? That's the white man's woman. Let him have his woman and you have yours. You know, I just, you know, I'm not finna go to war with that man over his woman. Oh, we some. But anyway, I look at this stuff like just now, and he come in here, he sit here and sit here, and he couldn't find no fault, so he said his little insult and run. Yeah. Anyway, let's listen to the messenger some more.
Please tell me how to pronounce it. Also, Dr. Thomas Smith and Dennis Joseph Robinson, and Mr. Frank Ditto, WXYZ TV show, Mr. Leon, Brother Leon Drake, Clinic Administrator, for here with us this afternoon. Where are the people who have respect and honor for others leader. And when the professional class of people hear that, we want you to know that we honor you and respect you for your visiting. We need you. We are not the people that know all. We are the people that will like to learn and let learn. This is the type of people that we need now to help us. Yes, to help us. We want all the professional class of people to come, join up with us, help put the job on. You have the type of help that we need. And we are working for you. Come here and help us to work for you. We're doing everywhere something like signs of our work that we are doing in the name of the Bible. These people of this type of profession, I think you are the one I want to talk with. Because the men have no learning and no profession, cannot help me. All just believe, but he can't do the work that is needed to be done. So I'm thankful for you, and I will assure you that if you represent yourself with that, the devil himself will join in on you. This is one reason why the professional class of our people don't come and visit us. See what we are seeing and doing. And still to the fight, they think the enemy will not still form as the common saying, go away. You don't need the enemy to give you a break. If you do it yourself, you'll put your own self a break. We have been beggars of the blue-eyed devil so long until we don't think we can hit a break unless we get his respect. But I say, brother, he's going down, we're going up. He's going down to dishonor and disrespect. You're going up in honor and respect.
You saw an example of that with what he said to me and how he hurt himself. He's an embarrassment to his own people. Just like me, when I used to see black people, and even now, when I hear black people get out in the public and use profanity and use insults and whatnot, it's embarrassing. Because that's not how you deal with people that you disagree with. You don't cuss them out. If that's the best you could do, it'd do better. Just don't say nothing. For it is an old saying, it is better to remain silent and be thought of as a fool, or to be thought of as ignorant, than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Because whatever comes out of the mouth is a reflection of the abundance of what's in the heart, in the mind. And a fool is known by the foolishness that he espouses.
I am the teacher of the enemy, and you see me stand here and tell you the truth of them. But they have greater respect for me than they have for you. Whether you believe it or not, they have respect for me. Did you hear about how they respected me in '59 when I visited Washington?
And that was when all of us was running around here being Negroes. Yeah. He was teaching us that we are the original people and that we are black people way back in the 30s. And people got mad at him. Black people got mad at him. White people respected him.
They come out and met me. And they stay around me to protect me from some maybe would-be silly act of myself. They were not going to said that they was not trying to, it was afraid of you. So they give me all the protection that they could from the airport and return to the airport. So when we have Will and L went to Washington, they got such respect. When have Will ever of our black brothers been escorted up and down Pennsylvania Avenue? Well, I think you're now the street watching. They're watching me closer than my own followers. Because for you to throw a rock at me, I love to talk.
I think I want to, I may have came to the wrong one here.
Brothers and sisters, I'm very happy to see you smiling face. That makes me feel good to see you.
If it's possible, we want to buy a little extra airtime tonight. I have a few things to share with you, and I want to try to get them. So if it's possible, we would like to get a little more airtime tonight.
And I think before we are finished, this will be filled. We continue our subject. The thing that you should know. has been hidden from you. And what has been kept hidden from you. I'm the fellow that is raised up here, has revealed to me that was hidden. And that the prayer of the prophet Abraham, that God will raise up a people from among which people have surprised herself.
You notice, he said the prayer was that God, they thought he's talking about himself. But he's the one that God sent to raise up the one to teach you. That's why I'm standing here teaching you. And as he said, I say, my friend, just a few days, and you will learn. If you somebody gonna have to teach you that Elijah Muhammad is teaching you the truth. Well, you learn it now that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching you the truth. Because I'm teaching you.
And so, this is the little boy that you read of there in the Bible.
Now listen closely to how he words what he says.
Take note of the name Elijah. It comes in the Old Testament and leaves out in the New Testament. He's followed by many witnesses directly at the point. We call them minor prophets. You don't miss.
Said that we have 12 men that was ruling us. And he called them minor prophets. You understand? So.
He tells it right out. I hope you are hearing me. The mic up here, you will have to tell me yourself whether you are hearing well. Because you are listening and not speaking, is getting over to you clear enough for you to understand. We don't want you coming up. Something was wrong with that mic and they should have fixed it. And I would not have been out there with disbelievers. Find where the messenger of God had people claiming an excuse. But this messenger is to make it so plain that you can't claim it an excuse.
Now you notice. Have you heard anybody able to produce an argument against anything that I'm teaching? Huh? Well, then how can you be excused and pardoned for rejecting it?
And I watches you to see if you misunderstand. And you're welcome. After I say all I intend to say this afternoon, to ask me questions if you didn't understand.
Now you notice he's talking. Question me after. You notice. I tell you, you welcome to question me during the time that I'm, because I'm not here so much as with a message from somebody. I'm here to explain the messages that was delivered and locked up inside of here that you couldn't understand. That's why I'm called the messenger of the covenant. That's why all of the messages I'm giving you is coming right out of the Holy Scriptures, the covenant.
But I don't invite you to ask me something that's be taught. Yes. You from that in what I say. But if you think that you have found something that I failed to say in what I say, to hear all that I have to say, and I won't have time to stay here and tell you. One is something inferior to the Bible. The only inferior part is that it came after the Bible. Only the Bible. But it verifies what is written in the Bible. And the Bible verifies what is written in the Quran. They are not two enemy books. They are two books which verify each other. In the Bible, it reads there, when you open it, the first page of the chapter 1 in the Bible.
Now, before I let him continue, they're not enemy books. They verify each other. In the Holy Bible, in the book of Malachi, the 3rd chapter, it says, and the 16th verse. It says, then they that feared the Lord, they that feared Allah, the God, Allah, the Lord, spake often one to another, and Allah hearkened it, and heard it. And a book of remembrance, a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, for them that feared Allah and thought upon the truth. Huh? Okay. Let's see here. In the 6th chapter of the Holy Quran, and this is the 6th chapter of the Holy Quran, and let me see what verse I want to start at. Verse let's start at the 83rd verse. It says, and this was our argument which we gave to Abraham against his people. That alone is telling you that, you wouldn't know nothing about Abraham if you hadn't read the Bible. I didn't hear you. Okay. And this, what did the Bible say? It says, then they that feared Allah spake often one to another, and Allah heard it. He hearkened and heard it. He listened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Allah and that thought upon his word. Well, since the Bible was before the Holy Quran, and the Holy Quran declares that it is a reminder. Well, it's the book of remembrance that the Bible talked about. Huh? Okay. And this was our argument which we gave to Abraham against his people. We exalt in degrees whom we please. Surely thy Lord is wise, knowing, and we gave him Isaac and Jacob. Each did we guide, and Noah did we guide before. And of his descendants, David and Solomon and Job and Joseph and Moses and Aaron. And thus do we reward those who do good to others. And Zacharias and John and Jesus and Elias. Well, I'm wondering if we're going to be able to get some extra airtime, because I see they're giving us this about to go off. So the airtime is not available. If it's not available, it's not available. And I will. But if it is, I want to go over tonight. It says, in Zacharias and John and Jesus and Elias, each one of them was of the righteous. And Ishmael and Elisha and Jonah and Lot, and each one of them we made to excel the people. And some of their fathers and their descendants, and some of their fathers and their descendants and their brethren, and we chose them. Not only did they excel the people, but some of them excelled their fathers and their descendants and their brethren. And we chose them and guided them to the right way. You'll notice I told you before that the chosen people of God was his messengers, his prophets. All people are God's people. And the many that are called, because many go in at the wrong gate. They go to destruction, just like when you were conceived. Only a few of those life germs, relative to the many, only a few of them found their way up to the egg and had the potential to fertilize that egg. The wrong way. Never had a chance. Right? So, many are called to the right way, and few are chosen to call them. Do you understand? When my daddy wanted to get the family, the rest of my siblings to do something, he didn't call all of us. He might call one of us. Hey, you go there and tell the rest of them that I said, this is what I want done by the time I get home. The many are called by the few. Do you understand? Okay, or the one. It says, this is Allah's guidance, wherewith he guides. Come on now. Instruction. When someone guides you, they instruct you. So Allah prepared the instruction before the instructor was born. Do you understand? Thou preparest the table before me. in the presence and delivered it into the hands of my enemies. Yes. But they couldn't open it. He sealed it up and waited for me. This is Allah's guidance, wherewith he guides whom he pleases of his servants. And if they had associated others with him, all that they did would have been vain. But they didn't do it to be seen and to be pleasing in the sight of men. The messengers of God was trying to please only one. And that was the one who raised them and sent them. And it says, these are they to whom we gave the book and authority and prophecy. If everybody, well, that's why you have to know what these is about. Remember, it says, I will make him of a quick understanding. You know what quick understanding means? It means movable. Why do you call quicksand quicksand? Because when you see you don't it. It's not firm, huh? We have made the word to have what? Many meanings, many connections. Meanings like quicksand. You got to know which meaning applies. And so it says, therefore, if these disbelieve in it, if these people to whom we have delivered it disbelieve in it, we have entrusted it to a people who are not disbelievers. It was entrusted to the prophets and the messengers, and they did not disbelieve in it, even though the people that it was delivered to disbelieved in it. Do you understand? And it says, these are they. So follow their guidance, and not for any reward for it. What? Reminder. Now, what does reminding mean? Let's see. You know, I like accurate. I don't want nobody to come back later. Somebody like, well, yeah, that ain't what it meant. Remind. To cause to remember. A book of remembrance. And the Holy Quran says it is a reminder to the Bible, bears witness to the Quran, and the Quran bears witness to the Bible. Do you understand? All right. Ain't that what the messenger said? Oh, yes, he did say that. Let's see here.
Takes it for granted that the Holy Quran is something inferior to the Bible. The only inferior part is it came after the Bible. And the Bible went before the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran is not only the Bible, but it's verified. And the Bible verifies. They are not two enemy books. They are two books which verify each other.
Just a few days, you will learn that Elijah Muhammad is teaching you the truth.
In the Bible, it reads there, when you open it, first page of the chapter 1 in the Bible, in the beginning, right? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Well, when was that? See, that's all you have here. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. What beginning? You just tell what you did. But if you would say like this, God created the heaven and the earth. And but if you had said,
you see, it wasn't his hands. It was his job to put it on your mind so that when I got here, that would help to prove who I am. He said, but I hope that when the day comes, that Allah won't miss throwing you over in the middle of hell, who rejects you all. Not drop you on the outskirts of it, but drop you over in the middle of the lake of fire. Because salvation come to you and you rejected it for the fire. He said, I won't make no mistake, because I'm supposed to be designed by Allah to help push you into hell who rejects you all. And what he's saying right there, if you don't listen to me and think that you getting the understanding from him, no, he setting you up for hell who reject me. Yep, that's what he was designed to do. Like of this Holy Scriptures. Look how many false religions have sprung up from reading the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. Allah said, for this cause, he said, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, that may be held back from who had pleasure in us. Yeah. That's what's happening to you. So let me let you hear the messenger again as he starts telling you about in Genesis.
you would say like this, God created the heaven and the earth. And don't fit in the beginning, because you didn't get there. But if you had said, in the beginning, which was about so on and so on, or it was so on and so on, but didn't have a beginning. There's nothing before us, nor behind us, but didn't have a beginning. We used to say, in the beginning, which was about so on and so on, or it was so on and so on. Don't say about it, because it had a beginning. There's nothing before us, nor behind us, but didn't have a beginning.
Now, that brings us to another argument. Didn't he just say there ain't nothing before or behind us that didn't have a beginning? Well, you're contradicting yourself. No, he's not. But he's designed to push you into hell who reject me. As he told you. He said, I'm your Bible's Elijah, Reverend. He said, Elijah don't come after God, he goes before God. Is that what he said? Then right behind him, God will appear. Huh? Have you heard another man stand up in front of you and declare himself to be the supreme being? and did it in front of the whole world and shut them up? I told you can say anything if you know how to prove it. The mere fact that I tell you that I'm a human being is proof that I'm like you. But when I say I'm supreme, then that means that the mind that's in me is superior to the one that's in you. And I was already told this. The scripture said, to me, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Then if I have a greater mind than everybody else that's in this world, then I'm the supreme being. Jealousy and envy ain't gonna change that. You can get jealous and cuss and swear all you want, but coming in here cussing at me and talking crazy to me, that's gonna get you hell. You won't brag about it after a while. You won't come in here and disrespect me and go away and nothing happen to you. Oh yeah, something gonna happen to you. Allah said something gonna happen to you. He said, whoever fall on me, he said, they shall be crushed. Yeah. So, I ain't worried about you. You won't be bragging about it long. So the messenger said, in the lessons, it's right there in the lesson. What is the birth record of the said nation of Islam? The said nation of Islam has no birth record. It has no beginning nor ending. Yet, that there's nothing before or behind us have a beginning. Well, you say nobody knows, but it had a beginning. Huh? All right, let's see here.
Start with you. There you had said, in the so on and so on. Don't say about it. Because it had a beginning. There's now behind us. It begins. We used to say, nobody knows. That's not right.
Now, well, we caught him in a lie. Because he said that the nation of Islam ain't had no beginning nor ending. And now he said that ain't nothing that before or behind us that didn't have a beginning. So I want the $10,000. You remember once he said I could show you how to attack me and what I'm teaching. He said I could ward you off. Don't never, trying to fight God with God's word is like trying to, you're just as foolish to try that as I would be to try to fight white people with guns and bullets and bombs. I'm not that stupid. He makes all the bombs and makes all the bullets and makes all the guns. And he can write down, like I say, he know what he sold you. So he can wait on you to run. Nothing else if he want to. He can just wait on you to run out of ammunition. So I'm not that stupid. No. And I see they ain't so stupid no more. They don't stop coming in here trying to throw a scripture up at me. No. The Holy Scriptures when you don't understand the Scripture. We are the makers of Scripture. You got about a snowball's chance in hell to come in here and win an argument against me with the Scripture. So just sit there and be thankful that I'm not here to try to harm you. So let's get at the truth here. As he said, nothing before us or behind us what didn't have a beginning. Now let's get this understood.
In the beginning, which was about so on and so on, or it was so on and so on. Because it had a beginning. There is nothing before us nor behind us that didn't have a beginning. But there was a beginning. If God was not the sole beginning of what house you have, then who was it before him? Because he was the beginning himself.
Now he just answered it. God himself made an appearance. And that wasn't to happen until after Elijah. The God that came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad was the God of this world. And he revealed, as the messenger said, many people think John Divine, somebody by the name of John Divine, wrote the revelation. He said, but no, Yaqub wrote the revelation. And Yaqub told his uncle when he was a little boy, he said, Uncle, when I get to be an old man, now remember now, this was when he was 6. And his name was changed to Israel. And he said, when I get to be an old man, I'm going to make a people that will rule you. In other words, your seed is going to be enslaved by them. So, back in 1492, when Christopher Columbus had the key to unlock the bottomless pit of Europe, and they were loosed out of there, because they found out they wouldn't fall off the earth. So they was loose to go out, and now they have went out and deceived the nations. And they enslaved Yaqub's uncle. And so when he came to North America, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, he said, my name is W.F. Muhammad, and I came to North America by myself. My uncle does not know himself. Yeah. So he came and he taught, found, and raised and sent Elijah, as was prophesied. He said, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet. That was the God who was the present ruler, saying that he would send Elijah before the coming of the Sabbath day of the Lord. Before the Lord of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob show up. That's me. And so I ain't got no apologies to make to you for being who I am. And I ain't got to be tiptoeing around you to say it either. If you don't like it, that's just tough. So it's after Yaqub did what he promised. Then Elijah, as he told you, he said, God help me. He said, he so deep in the mud. He said, Allah only find me and keep his regal robes on. He said, but he found me and pulled me out. And he says, and then he sent me back to the cemetery, Son of Man, to pull you out. He said, well, he didn't say Son of Man. Well, he didn't have to. He knew I would understand. He said that without saying it. When he put in his divine sayings, he said, I alone, Allah has raised up to teach a dead man. Yeah, and I'm that dead man that he was raised up to teach. And so now I'm not dead now. I'm all the way alive. Mercy. And so I'm a happy man to know the truth. And I'm going to make you happy people that you are being offered the chance to live with God himself. So now, let's get to this in the beginning. In the third chapter of the book of Revelation, now remember now, Islam means entire submission to the will of God. Well, a nation of Islam is a nation that is under the direct guidance of God himself. So what is the birth record of the said nation of Islam? The said nation of Islam has no birth record, haven't been born yet, because it has no beginning nor ending. But I am the beginning and the ending, saith who? The Holy Scripture. What is another way of saying the beginning and the ending? The author and the finisher. I am the author and the finisher of the faith. I'm the beginning and the ending of it. I'm not here to just author and create a faithful mind inside of you. I'm here to complete, not just create it, but complete it. And make you the best nation raised up for men. One that enjoins goodness and forbids evil. The nation of entire submission to the will of God. Do you understand? Okay. So it says in the third chapter of the book of Revelation and the 13th verse, it says, he that hath a spiritual ear, let him hear what Allah saith unto the churches. Well, in Ezekiel it says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words at my mouth. He that hath a spiritual ear, let him hear the word of Allah. That's talking about me. It says, let him hear what Allah saith unto the continents. He called the continents churches. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, write this down. These things saith the Amen. When Allah said to Jesus, be, he said, I am, didn't he? Well, Allah said to me, be my representative. Why you change that? The Amen, true witness. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Write these things down, for these words are faithful and true. Faithful and true words produced now a faithful and true mind in flesh. These things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. I am the beginning of the creation of the thoughts of God in your brain. You are having thoughts now that you never would have had if I wasn't standing here talking to you. I am the beginning of the creation of the mind of God in the brain of humanity. Now you see why it says in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. In the beginning, truth. In the mind of the Son of Man, truth. Created. The understanding of what the heaven and the earth is supposed to be. And the earth was without form. Before me, there was no God formed. The earth was without form and void. All of your righteousnesses ain't nothing but as valid as a pile of filthy rags. As valid as a checkbook without any money in the account that it's supposed to be drawn checks on. Void. The earth was without form and void. And darkness was covering the Holy Scriptures. Darkness was covering the deep thoughts of God that you call Holy Scriptures. But the rightly guided one said, let there be light. The Spirit of God, the mind of God, moved over the face of the waters. And the new grantor of dominion said, let there be light of understanding. And there was light of understanding. He guided us straight to it. I didn't hear you. I'm not here to beg anybody. So, one more thing I want you to hear before I let you go. As I said, this young man was this young man caused me to rethink politics and everything else. I remember the messenger said politics will have to enter into it somewhere. He said, but we don't want the kind of politics that we have gotten used to in this world of who can rob the other one the quickest and get the most. We don't want no such thievery. So we are trying to set up a clean temple of politics. And so as I was watching President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden, and I had to take another look at what this was all about. And it made me feel like there is hope for America. I don't have to, as the messenger had said, there are white Muslims in this country, lots of them. You witnessing a lot of that play out right in front of you right now, with those demonstrators and the people who are marching arm in arm against police brutality against black people. And I just can't refuse to show mercy to people who show mercy to others. I just can't do it. I have to show mercy to people who showed mercy to me. It's like that, I was thinking about that movie, A Knight's Tale. When this little fellow who was not born to what they call royalty or to nobility, his father told him he could change his stars. So his father let a knight adopt him. And the young man, when that knight passed away, the little boy had grown up on the knight's armor and learned how to joust and learned how things that the knight was doing. Changed his name to von Liechtenstein. And there was a prince who liked to joust, but when he would come out there, he had to pretend to be someone else, because if they knew it was the prince, wouldn't no knight joust with it, because they didn't want to take no chance on hurting the prince or that kind of thing. But when he came up to William, who was named von Liechtenstein, the black knight, when he knew it was the prince, he wouldn't joust with him. But William, when they said, that's the prince, you don't want to joust with him, he said, well, that's what he came out here for. He wants to joust, so I will give him a joust. And so they did the joust, and William scored a pretty big hit on the prince. And but neither one of them fell off the horse or whatnot. And so when they came back, the prince was ready to quit because it had really hurt him. And he told William, he said, I have never not finished. He said, and I would like to keep my dignity. And William looked at him and nodded and said, okay. And so when it came time to joust again, both of them held their jousting poles up. to say that's enough. Both of them resigned. And the Black Knight looked at the one that they had as the Black Knight. You know, the Black Knight always the bad guy. And so William, the Black Knight, said, that's his weakness. And, he wouldn't finish. His mercy is his weakness. But in the end, they found out that William was not nobility. And I know I related this story to y'all before. I ain't getting senile. I'm just getting old. But anyway, they had found out that William was not nobility, and the Black Knight had told on him, and they arrested him and put him in the pillory with the thing which you put your neck in and your arms in, and people throw stuff at you. And so they was throwing at him and everything, and the prince happened to come by there and see it. And he saw William's men standing there, the few that was with him, trying to defend him and everything. He told him, he said, me and you, the prince walked up there and uncovered himself, and everybody saw it was him, and they thought, stop throwing things at him. And he leaned over and told William, he said, me and you, we are a pair, ain't we? And me trying to keep them from knowing my identity, and you trying to hide your identity. He said, if I hadn't seen nothing else, but your people want to lay their lives down for you, that would be enough. He said, but you also tilt when you should withdraw. He said, he had a chance to run away when he found out what he was. He wouldn't run. He said, and that too is knightly. And then he stood up and told the people, this man is of noble birth, and he, to show you that it's all a farce. We all the same human beings. But anyway, he told this man is of noble birth, and as the prince, and as the future king, my word is not to be questioned. Loose him. And he told him, he said, let me return a favor you once did to me. It all boiled down to the lesson of, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. The prince never forgot the mercy that he was shown to save face in front of the people of the kingdom. And when that young man needed mercy shown to him, it just was proving the word of God, that's all. So that's the one thing that most people miss, even with the devil. When he was speaking to God, he said, my Lord, as you have judged me to be erring. He didn't say, nigger, as you judge me. He didn't disrespect God. He understood who he was talking to. So I want you to hear this.
Barack Obama. Man, thank you. Man, that was unbelievable. And we could not be prouder. And you are a hard act to follow. So, I
everybody, all participants, all panelists. Let me start by just acknowledging that we have seen in the last several weeks, last few months, the kinds of epic changes and events in our country that are as profound as anything that I've seen in my lifetime. And I'm now a lot older than planned. I'm going to be 59 soon. And let me begin by acknowledging that although all of us have been feeling pain, uncertainty, disruption, some folks have been feeling it more than others. Most of all, the pain that's been experienced by the families of George and Brianna and Ahmad and Tony and Sean and too many others to mention, those that we thought about during that moment of silence. And to those families who've been directly affected by tragedy, please know that Michelle and I and the nation grieve with you, hold you in our prayers. We're committed to the fight of creating a more just nation in memory of your sons and daughters. And we can't forget that even as we're confronting the particular acts of violence that led to those losses, our nation and the world is still in the midst of a global pandemic that's exposed the vulnerabilities of our healthcare system, but also the disparate treatment and, as a consequence, the disparate impact that exists in our healthcare system, the unequal investment, the biases that have led to a disproportionate number of infections and loss of life in communities of color. So, in a lot of ways, what has happened over the last several weeks is challenges and structural problems here in the United States have been thrown into high relief. They're the outcomes not just of the immediate moments in time, but they're the result of a long history of slavery and Jim Crow and redlining and institutionalized racism that too often the plague, this original, and in some ways, as tragic as these past few weeks have been, as difficult and scary and uncertain as they've been, they've also been an incredible opportunity for people to be awakened to wrong trends. And they offer an opportunity for us to all work together to tackle them, to take them on, to change America and make it live up to its highest ideals. And part of what's made me so hopeful is the fact that so many young people have been galvanized and activated and motivated and mobilized. Because historically, so much of the progress that we've made in our society has been because of young people. Dr. King was a young man when he got involved. Cesar Chavez was a young man. Malcolm X was a young man. The leaders of the feminist movement were young people. Leaders of union movements were young people. The leaders of the environmental movement in this country and the movement to make sure that the LGBT community finally had a voice and was represented were young people. And so when sometimes I feel despair, I just see what's happening with young people all across the country and the talent and the voice and sophistication that they're displaying. And it makes me feel optimistic. It makes me feel as if, this country's going to get better. Now, I want to speak directly to the young men and women of color in this country, who, as Brown just so eloquently described, have witnessed too much violence and too much death. And too often, some of that violence has come from folks who were supposed to be serving and protecting you. I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that your lives matter, that your dreams matter. And when I go home and I look at the faces of my daughters, Sasha and Malia, and I look at my nephews and nieces, I see limitless potential that deserves to flourish and thrive. And you should be able to learn and make mistakes and live a life of joy without having to worry about what's going to happen when you walk to the store or go for a jog or driving down the street or looking at some birds in a park. And so I hope that you also feel hopeful, even as you may feel angry, because you have the power to make things better, and you have helped to make the entire country feel as if this is something that's got to change. You've communicated a sense of urgency that is as powerful and as transformative as anything that I've seen in recent years. I want to acknowledge the folks in law enforcement that share the goals of reimagining police, because there are folks out there who took the oath to serve your communities and your countries, have a tough job, and I know you're just as outraged about tragedies in recent weeks as are many of the protesters. And so we're grateful for the vast majority of you who protect and serve. I've been heartened to see those in law enforcement who've recognized, let me march along with these protesters. Let me stand side by side and recognize that I want to be part of the solution. And who show restraint and volunteered and engaged and listened, because you're a vital part of the conversation. And change is going to require everybody's participation. Now, when I was in office, as was mentioned, I created a task force on 21st century policing in the wake of the tragic killing of Michael Brown. That task force, which included law enforcement and community leaders, activists, was charged to develop a very specific set of recommendations to strengthen public trust and foster better working relationships between law enforcement and communities that they're supposed to protect, even as they're continuing to promote effective crime reduction. And that report showcased a range of solutions and strategies that were proven, that were based on data and research to improve community policing and collect better data and reporting and identify and do something about implicit bias and how police were trained and reforms to use the force that police deploy in ways that increase safety rather than precipitate tragedy. And that report demonstrated something that's critical for us today. Most of the reforms that are needed to prevent the type of violence and injustices that we've seen take place at the local level. In more than 19,000 American municipalities, more than 18,000 local enforcement jurisdictions. And so as activists and everyday citizens raise their voices, we need to be clear about where the change is going to happen and how we can bring about that change. It is mayors and county executives that appoint most police chiefs and negotiate collective bargaining agreements with police unions. And that determines police practices in local communities. It's district attorneys and state's attorneys that decide typically whether or not to investigate and ultimately charge those involved in police misconduct. And those are all elected positions. And in some places, they're police community review boards with the power to monitor police conduct. Those oftentimes may be elected as well. The bottom line is, I've been hearing a little bit of chatter in the internet about voting versus protest, politics and participation versus civil disobedience and direct action. This is not a either or. this is a both and. To bring about real change, we both have to highlight a problem and make people in power uncomfortable, but we also have to translate that into practical solutions and laws that can be implemented, and we can monitor and make sure we're following that law. So, very quickly, let me just close with a couple of specific things. What can we do? Number one, we know there are specific evidence-based reforms that, if we put in place today, would build trust, save lives, would not show an increase in crime. Those are included in the 21st Century Policing Task Force report. You can find it on Obama.org. Number two, a lot of mayors and local elected officials read and supported the task force report, but then there wasn't enough follow-up. So today I am urging every mayor in this country to review your use of force policies with members of your community and commit to report on planned reforms. What are the specific steps you can take? And I should add, by the way, that the original task force report was done several years ago. Since that time, we've actually collected data, in part because we implemented some of these reform ideas. So we now have more information and more data as to what works. And there are organizations like Campaign Zero and Color of Change and others that are out there highlighting what the data shows, what works, what doesn't in terms of reducing incidents of police misconduct and violence. Let's go ahead and start implementing those. So we need mayors, county executives, others who are in positions of power to say this is a priority. This is a specific response. Number three, every city in this country should be a My Brother's Keeper community, because we have 250 cities, counties, tribal nations who are working to reduce the barriers and expand opportunity for boys and young men of color through programs and policy reforms, public-private partnerships. So go to our website, get working with that, because it can make a difference. And let me just close by saying this. I've heard some people say that you have a pandemic, then you have these protests. This reminds people of the 60s and the chaos and the discord and distrust throughout the country. I have to tell you, although I was very young when you had riots and protests and assassinations and discord back in the 60s, I know enough about that history to say there is something different. You look at those protests, and that was a far more representative cross-section of America out on the streets, peacefully protesting, and who felt moved to do something because of the injustices that they had seen. That didn't exist back in the 1960s, that kind of broad coalition. The fact that recent surveys have shown that despite some protests having then been marred by the actions of some, a tiny minority that engaged in violence, that despite, as usual, that got a lot of attention, a lot of focus, despite all that, a majority of Americans still think those protests were justified. That wouldn't have existed 30, 40, 50 years ago. There is a change in mindset that's taking place, a greater recognition that we can do better. And that is not as a consequence of speeches by politicians. That's not the result of, spotlights in news articles. That's a direct result of the activities and organizing and mobilization and engagement of so many young people across the country who put themselves out on the line to make a difference. And so I just have to say thank you to them for helping to bring about this moment, and just make sure that we now follow through. Because at some point, attention moves away. At some point, protests start to dwindle in size. And it's very important for us to take the momentum that has been created as a society, as a country, and say, let's use this to finally have an impact. All right? Thank you, everybody. Proud of you guys. And I know that we're going to be hearing from a bunch of people who have been on the front lines on this and know a lot more than I do about it. Proud of it.
Now we're going to we're going to close with that, and I think this is fitting to close with. So I'm proud of these young folks too.
Looking so alive, they're here for business, but so none of your doubt. Brighter tomorrow are in their eyes. You better make way for the young folks. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. They say yes, then you say no. They ask you why, and you close the door. My old friend, I thought you knew by now. You can't do that to the young folks. Oh, no, 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 no. You might not like it, but I've got to tell you. Gotta tell you. You gotta make way for the young folks. Yeah, 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 yeah. They're marching with signs. They're standing in line. Yeah. Protesting your right to turn out the light in their lives. Here's the deal. Accept it if you will. They're coming on strong. It's their time to be. My old friend, I thought you knew by now. You gotta make way for the young folks. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You may not like it, but I've got to tell you. Gotta tell you. Oh, you better make way. You gotta make way. You better make way for the young folks. Ooh, yeah. You may not like it, but I've got to tell you. You gotta make way. You gotta make way. You gotta make way for the young folks. Ooh, yeah.
May Allah bless us who love Him and who want to please Him. May He bless us and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's Salaam Alaikum.